Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast. Chad Hyams here. Bob Stewart over there. Bob, how are you doing today, my friend?
Chad, we're in the time warp here on the podcast because we record them and then we drop them later. Let's just say right now as we sit here, I'm hungry.
Hungry.
It's really close to Thanksgiving. We may or may not have, before we started, been talking about some of our favorites around the Thanksgiving table. And so I was already just slightly hungry, although I did have a pretty healthy breakfast this morning. But talking about food has me reminded that I need to go get another good amount of food in me, Chad.
We will definitely be talking about that today. Interestingly enough, Bob Stewart. Yet before we get into it, let's talk Thanksgiving. Because yes, Thanksgiving has come and gone by the time our audience hears this. Bob, what's the thing that you are not touching? Like when it's getting passed around, you are just passing it on to the next person.
I don't like sweet potatoes or yams or whatever. I don't do those. I'm sure they're
especially
fine.
With marshmallows in them for some reason. I don't get that.
I've never been a like mix my savory and sweets guy. I don't really want my bacon touching my syrup. And so I don't want, and look, it's a sweet potato, I guess. So it's sweet with the marshmallow. I don't know. It doesn't look right to me visually. I don't like orange foods necessarily. The whole thing about it, Chad.
Oh, Bob, you entertain me. And the thing that you will not let go, like when it's passing time, the person beside you knows they're probably not even getting it because it's not going past.
I actually hide it under the table and act like it disappeared. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, look, nobody ate this stuff. I should take this home with me.
And that would be?
My mother-in-law makes the best fresh cranberry sauce. And I didn't grow up liking cranberry sauce. I didn't come into adulthood. I went well into my 30s. And then I met my mother-in-law. And since then, like at the end of Thanksgiving, I grab the cranberry sauce and I like hide it away and make sure nobody and I take it home with me. It's so good.
How did they convince you to even taste the cranberry sauce? Since you had 30 years of no way. And now here it is again.
So I've made a habit out of this in my life. Every so often, if there's a thing that I've always been like, I don't like that, I'll try it again. And so like mushrooms was a thing as a kid. I hated mushrooms. In my early 20s, I was like, you know what? I'll try it again. And I actually like mushrooms now. And pepperoni and mushroom pizza is like my favorite pizza. Olives, Chad, I do not like olives still to this day. It's recently though, interestingly enough, my palate is starting to come around to olives. I still don't really like them, but they're not like offensive. Like in my 20s, I was like, olives, the smell of olives made me just turned off, So I don't know, like I've always had an open mind to being like, I don't like that thing, but I'm willing to try it again. But really the answer, my mother-in-law is an amazing cook. She's one of these people that like, she'll give you the recipe and she's like, but you got to make sure that the milk is like virgin goat milk from the Himalayan mountains and the salt has to have come from the depths of the Dead Sea. And right, like she uses like really high-end ingredients. And so her food's always amazing. So even though I never really liked curry, I'll eat my mother-in-law's curry. Even though I wasn't a big fan of that cranberry sauce, I am now like, it's my favorite thing. So,
okay.
Kids, if you're out there listening, occasionally try things that you didn't think you liked. Your palate will change over the years.
My dad always had a rule that you had to attempt something twice. So if you ate it once and you didn't like it, you had to attempt it one more time somewhere else because maybe it was just a bad preparation or something that time. Once you twice said, no, I do not like that, then you were excused from eating it.
So Chad, I every single time I meet somebody that doesn't live on a coast and they tell me they don't like seafood, I'm like, oh, you just didn't have it right.
Correct. Yeah, you're living somewhere it's flash frozen and flown in.
Come where I live and then try it again. I promise you'll like it. I think your dad's that's a smart rule.
Yeah, and it's probably people living in your area who don't like steak as much because they don't know what a good, Texan steak
never
really is.
Watch somebody carve it off the bone and throw it on the grill. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, folks. We're talking Thanksgiving food, and we could talk Christmas food because it's very similar, the meal that we create for both of these things. Yet the reason we're talking food, and this shocked the living daylights out of me.
That's what I was going for, by the way.
Stewart said to me, Chad, I have the topic for this week's episode. And Bob, you sent me an episode titled Nutrition for Mental Clarity, What Not to Eat and What to Eat to have peak cognitive performance. And I was just blown away that you brought a health episode to the conversation. What's going on in Bob Stewart's world, other than you're thinking Thanksgiving, that made you say, I want to talk health?
Well, here's why I did this, Chad, because I knew that I wouldn't have to do anything on this episode. You do all the heavy lifting and I just get an education.
So it's all monologue from here on out. I got it.
No, look, we joke around my house, but my dad put a curse on me at some point. He said, look, eventually you're not going to be able to eat everything and anything that's in your path. And he said, I used to be like you. And then I got 45. And so I always thought like, man, I'm going to hit 45 and I'm not going to be able to eat 2 cinnamon rolls at night. I'm not going to be able to like, I've definitely, Chad, in my life taken advantage of the gifts of my DNA that my parents passed down, which is I can eat just about anything. I barely ever gain weight. But more recently, I've started to realize like food has an impact on my energy and especially my mental clarity. I sit like you do, I think a lot of times, like our work day consists of us sitting there, not a ton of activity. We gotta find the things to do that, but we're generally sitting. You might stand at a desk or something, but I would see myself. It's like, man, I'd start in the morning. I'm starting to recognize the patterns in my brain when I'm hungry. When when I had the thing that was quick and I grabbed a McDonald's sausage McMuffin with egg in the morning instead of getting some blueberries and almonds. Like I'm starting to see this, and maybe it's because my dad cursed me and I've now passed 45, but my body's reacting a little bit different to food. So I thought, man, maybe I could get my buddy Chad, who's a pretty healthy eater, healthy at life, to educate me a little bit here.
All right, so we're gonna talk about that, Bob. One of the things I want to hit you with right away. Good job right there, because you're drinking water, right? Audience, you can't see, I can see. Bob just took a drink of water. Most of the time, we think we're hungry, Bob. We're actually just dehydrated. So just think that, folks. Most of the time you're thinking, I need a snack. And most of the time you're going, oh, I'd like something to eat. If you just drank some water at that time, one, you would absolutely hit your hydration goal for the day, which should be half your body weight in ounces. And two, you'd probably stave off some of that hunger until you actually really were hungry for food, not just looking for it. So let's dive into this episode, Bob. One of the reasons you brought it up, you said you sit at a desk. I do not. I'm standing. I'm actually in agony right now. I told you I've been having some sort of issue. It's not sciatica is what I've learned, but I'm having some sort of issue. And there is a pain shooting down my leg right now that I wish I was at a sitting desk. Wow. I'm wishing I wasn't.
I gave you a hard time the last time you brought up sciatica. I was actually going to let you off the hook because I believe LeBron James did not start the season this year and has been out for the first couple weeks with sciatica. And so I'm like, oh, okay. If LeBron gets sciatica, I guess I shouldn't be giving Chad a hard time about it.
Well, top athletes, we get sciatica issues.
Okay,
it happens that way. Now I'm the greatest, obviously, of something. I don't know what it is, Bob. When it comes to
pickleball in the retirement community,
I wish. When it comes to nutrition and the approach you brought to this, the questions you asked as we were going to put together this episode, is that it's actually an energy. You were looking at it from the point, not, Chad, I'm getting fat. What should I be eating? It was more, I feel the energy drain show up. What's that about and what's going on? And a lot of people, Bob, think they have an energy problem where it's actually a nutrition problem. That what they're having and what you can change or what you can eat changes how you think. Bob, think about your car. It takes a certain type of fuel.
Yeah.
What type of, I'm guessing your car takes unleaded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
If you put diesel in the engine, are you putting gas in the car still?
Yes.
Are you putting the right kind of gas in the car?
No.
And what's going to happen to your engine?
I think it's going to freeze up. I'm not exactly sure. Like I'm not interested in crossing that boundary. I'm not a mechanic. I just have been told it's a really bad idea. And I remember, I have a vague memory. I think my cousin took my uncle's diesel pickup truck when he'd first gotten his driver's license and put regular gas in it. And it wasn't a good scene.
Right. Absolutely. And when you buy a high-end car, they'll tell you right there, it says right there, only use, 92 octane or whatever it is. Folks, that's us as people. And we don't think about it the same way. When you go to the gas station, you pay attention and say, oh, I like the cheap stuff, or I put this in, or no, my car exists on the high level, or I'm a diesel for my car. You don't mix gas. And that's what's happening with our nutrition. So as we talk today, understand this. We're going to give you general guidelines. We're going to give you some suggestions and some input, yet everyone's engine is different, Bob.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to say something about carbs at some point. Someone's going to say my body functions better and my energy levels higher with less carbs than Chad said, with more carbs than Chad said, as we were talking about it, because we all take a slightly different octane of fuel, yet we're going to speak generally to you today. So if you're sitting out there and you hear something and you're like, no way, that might just be you. Keep in mind when we come to that.
And Chad, look, as we were doing some research around this, and I'm joking, I wasn't going to put this entire episode on you. I have dug a few things up, but like, here's something I didn't realize. Okay. Like, I didn't realize that like a quarter of the energy that gets burned by your body. So, right, we're putting this energy in there every day, carbohydrates and food. And about a quarter of that energy actually gets consumed and burned up in your brain.
Right.
And like, that was a big aha for me. I don't know why I'd never considered that. I don't know why I never knew that. In my head, it was your heart and it was your lungs and it was your muscles and but a quarter of it actually goes to, the top 5% of your body is up in your head there. Maybe it's 10%, but it burns a quarter of the energy. So that was really eye-opening to me. I didn't know that was the case.
Think about it right now, Bob. You're sitting down in a chair while we're recording this. Are you using any energy in your legs?
No. Yeah, good point. No.
Right? Are you using any energy really in your arms? Yes,
you know me a little bit because I like to move my hands when I talk.
Correct.
But
yet your brain's always active, even when you don't realize it's active, because it's always creating memories. It's always thinking. It's always processing. It's always looking for threats towards it. The brain never shuts off. There's no switch that says turn off brain. So it's always needing energy, just like your heart is always needing energy to pump the blood. So
wow, when you say it like that, it makes it sound like I should have known this all along. But
it's one of those duh moments that we just don't think about. You're right. So Bob, when you're bringing good, clean fuel, we'll say, your brain's going to run efficiently. When you're bringing crap, your brain's going to get foggy. It's going to have those challenges and those problems that you'll feel.
Yeah. I mean, good fuel leads to clear thinking, faster decisions, right? I can process faster in my brain, potentially like better leadership. And I think when you think about the flip side of that, right, when the fuel's bad, it's impulsivity. That doesn't make a good leader, right? It's emotional swings. That doesn't make a good leader. It's brain fog. Sometimes, if I'm being completely honest, every once in a while, maybe I stay up too late at night and I get up, I don't get a good breakfast in the morning, I get started and my brain is foggy. I find myself not being able to grab that word that I knew yesterday, right, and use it right away. And so, I don't know. Again, in the last few years, this has started to become more clear to me. I think as my body is, taking the advice my dad gave it, which is it's not going to last forever eating whatever the hell you want.
Right. And I don't know if they say it today as much as they said it when we were kids, Bob. Yet I know you and I both grew up in a generation where we heard all the time, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right? And that was the brain is truly starting to fire at higher levels. They didn't realize why they were telling us this. The brain is starting to fire at higher levels because we're waking up, we're getting our day going. What are you putting in it to get started? Because if you put clean stuff, your head's going to be moving one way. If you put the wrong stuff, you're going the other way all day.
By the way, like, I think there's a lot of debate out there today whether breakfast is actually the most important meal from like, if you were like a marathon runner or you were training for something or you were trying to, get a certain body mass index or whatever. But I still do believe that, like, for your brain, and especially in an entrepreneurial environment where a lot of time your best work is done in the mornings, and for your brain, breakfast probably still is the most important meal of the day. Now, is bastardized the right word? It was like that phrase and that kind of understanding, culturally was really co-opted by like big business. Breakfast cereals. You got 100%. That's exactly where I was going. You knew where I was going, right? Yep. They basically were like, oh yeah, let's get on that bandwagon and let's try to convince all these parents that they got to give their kids breakfast, and it might as well be our sugary cereal, right? Which ends up not being the best way to get your day started. But the concept itself that, like, hey, having a healthy meal out the door so that, as the kids are going to school, as we're showing up at work as entrepreneurs, which a lot of times those first few hours at work tend to be our most productive. We got to have, good fuel walking into that.
Absolutely. And for business, if you use that as your term, as you did, it's probably the most important decision that you make is the breakfast of the day, because it lets you start the day with clarity. Even if you're not one of those people who says, I do my first things as my key things, right? You might have a big meeting later in the day, yet you've got to start your brain moving in the right direction early. And that comes, Bob, from fueling it correct. So let's talk a little bit about some of those food, some of the things we can get into, some of the terms we can give them. One of the acronyms that I love this one. I don't know. You found this one. Yeah. I've never heard this. So you probably just made this one up as you were going through it saying, hey,
I came across it. I came across it somewhere. Definitely not my idea here.
First, right? It's first. So FIRST for anybody out there going, wait, what word is he saying? Right? If you're not hearing me. And Bob, we'll talk about each one, yet to give you quickly, it stands for fat, inflammation fighters, real protein, slow carbs, trace elements. Okay, fat, inflammation fighters, real protein, slow carbs, trace elements, spell out first. Let's dive into these because this is what we would call the mental clarity plate if we were going to put it in front of us. Bob, let's talk healthy fats for a minute.
Okay, so it's things like omega-3s, Chad. We find these in salmons and or a lot of fish, right? Salmon, sardines, walnuts, which I actually love walnuts. We keep walnuts around the house. I eat walnuts. My wife thinks I'm weird. She doesn't like the taste of them or whatever. But it's monounsaturated fats, things like avocado or olive oil. These are things that improve the memory, and they also kind of lead to number two. These are also things that reduce inflammation in the brain. They actually like take those little capillaries in the brain that from time to time from sugars generally are getting a little bit of inflammation in them, and it will help to kind of combat that.
Absolutely. And Bob, if you're not eating enough fish in your diet, I highly recommend that you start taking an omega-3 supplement, right? It's one of the most popular supplements on the market is omega-3s. It's so good for being a healthy fat, which is clearing out your system of certain things that are causing blockages. And of course, high for your brain. I have a peanut butter energy ball snack that I make that is filled with chia and flaxseed. So that is absolutely helping. When I pop one of these things, it's including these things. And you just said it. It's improving memory and reducing inflammation up in the brain, which leads us to inflammation fighters, Bob. The first one on this list is hands down one of my favorite fruits.
So blueberries, me too, Chad, right? Like this morning, I was actually running behind a little bit, and my breakfast was just it's the bowl still sitting here on my desk, was a bowl of blueberries. We always have blueberries in our house. It's possible. And by the way, this is like my kids just like blueberries, and this is a happy side effect, but I'm pretty sure in Kenmore, Washington, my family buys the most blueberries of any family. Like we've always got the big Costco, the full size, the big Costco ones. Like there's 3 of those clamshells of the big ass Costco ones up in our fridge right now. That's what I stuck my hand in this morning, threw in the bowl. I like to wash them off with some water. I don't know why I do that. Is that Is that like the right move with
Yes.
fruit? Yeah. Wash it off with water. I hold my hand over the top and I dump the water out and kind of shake as much off as I can. But that's what sat on my desk this morning because I was running a little bit behind.
Folks, here's a tip. Don't rinse them with water and put them back in the fridge.
Oh yeah.
Right? Don't rinse the whole thing with water. You're going to cause spoilage and mold quicker on your fruit that way. Just rinse what you're about to eat. Clean it, dump, so it's not a bowl of water. You're not eating, blueberry soup.
I think the reason I like blueberries so much on this list is because the other things on this list, turmeric and spinach and kale and broccoli, I'm like, I'll take a pass on those. Do you have any blueberries? So
yes, blueberries are hands down one of the best things you can eat, specifically men, right? Because blueberries are known to target cancers that men deal with at such a high level. Blueberries should be part of your regular diet. I highly recommend them. It's the thing I miss most about living in Washington. The fresh blueberries that you could just go pick and eat. And that's one of the things I miss most. But yes, and Bob, here's what I'm going to give you. You said I don't like a lot of these other things on the list. So blueberries is one I'll go to. Turmeric, yet again, probably the number 2 supplement that most people should be adding to their intake of vitamins and supplements that you take every day. If you're taking an omega-3 and you're taking a turmeric, you've already hit number 1 and number 2 on this list you put together for us of that first foods to have.
Love it. All right, next up, real proteins. Let's do those next, Chad. And this is my kind of sweet spot. I've been a guy that for a lot of my life, I like 2 eggs in the morning. Now, I didn't get it this morning because my kid didn't want to wear the sweats his mom had picked out for him. So I spent 15 minutes battling my kid on what sweats he was going to wear, which is the 15 minutes I would have spent making myself a couple of eggs. And so, real proteins, these are things that turn into amino acids. And amino acids essentially will give your brain more serotonin and dopamine, which are kind of your focus chemicals, Chad. So it's things like beef, grass-fed beef, if you can get it right, poultry, Greek yogurt is a good kind of breakfast food. And you'll see Chad's shaking his head. He's like, disgusting. I don't like Greek yogurt. Chad's probably an eggs guy too, if I would guess. But real proteins, Chad, you have a favorite?
Chicken. Right. Chicken. Just give me the bird. Right. Give me red meat. I'm all for that. Yes. It's not going to necessarily be my breakfast, Bob. Yet protein. Yes. We eat cereal. Catalina Crunch is the cereal. I'll give it the plug. Right. It's filled with protein. Right. So we're eating protein. We're making sure of it. Folks, I want to step this up a little bit for you, Bob. I want to give you specific numbers. Okay. For the average adult, you should be eating 0.7 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So take your body weight and multiply it by 0.75, and that's approximately how many grams of protein you truly should be eating in a day. And I almost can guarantee that 90% of you will go, oh, crap. I'm not even close to that. Okay. If you're active, like 3 to 5 days a week of serious training, not just going for a walk, I'm talking serious training, you're running, you're lifting, whatever that is, you need to be 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound. Bob, that puts me in an area I should be eating 175 grams of protein a day. And I guarantee you, if most people stop and looked at their protein intake, not even close. Everybody probably needs to add a healthy protein shake. Now, Bob, here's the thing I'm about to give you. Healthy protein shake. Because there's 30 grams of protein in most of the healthy protein powders. Now, Bob, what would it look like if you put chia seeds and flaxseed in your protein shake with some blueberries?
I was just going to say, can I drop a blueberry or 30
and
in
now
there?
What you're doing is bam, bam, bam. You've just hit 1, 2, and 3 by eating a blueberry protein shake with some flaxseed or chia seeds in it every single day as one of your meals, getting that additional protein that if you actually tracked how much, you'll probably be surprised if you even hit 100 grams of protein in a day.
You're making me think I need to go get that Ninja blender that somebody bought us for Christmas like 5 years ago that's been sitting underneath my, it's like buried back behind the toaster somewhere in the appliance graveyard in our big cabinet in the kitchen.
Absolutely, right? And folks, it's not that hard to throw some ice, throw some fruit, throw some protein powder, throw a little water or a little milk if that's what you want to use. And now all of a sudden you're whipping yourself up a beautiful, easy protein shake to do the job. Okay, Bob, we've covered healthy fats, inflammation fighters, real proteins. Next on the list are slow carbs. Now notice that word, slow carbs. We're not just talking carbs, like go out there and eat chips and candies and cookies and all that stuff, although they're delicious. Slow carbs mean they're going to provide steady energy for you. You see, when you're eating not slow carbs, fast carbs, they're spiking your sugar levels. And that's what's making you crash. That's what's making you, yes, I can make it through this meeting. And then you're going to completely crash. And then I can make it through that. And then I'm going to completely crash because you're eating those fast carbs. We want to stick with slow carbs, such as oats. So oatmeal is great. Again, those peanut butter energy balls I told you about, Bob, there's oatmeal in them, right? Not oatmeal, it's oats. They're raw still. Quinoa, which is delicious, okay? Bob's favorite, sweet potatoes, which we already talked about, right? Other legumes, peas, and things that fall into that area. This will keep your sugar levels stable as you're eating some slow carbs.
So on the breakfast side of things, I tend to go down into like, there are some low sugar fruits that can be good in this environment, Chad. So it's things
Not
like
grapes.
apple. Yeah, like this time of year is perfect for that because apples and pears, they're all over here in Washington State. Like you can't turn anywhere in a grocery store and not see, apples and pears around. I like nuts. Walnuts and almonds, particularly for the slow carb side of things. But I think it is a little bit challenging to get your slow carbs into your breakfast. Oatmeal is obviously the big answer there that a lot of people turn to, and probably the healthiest people I know in life, like start breakfast with oatmeal. But
but have quinoa with lunch, right? Make it the side that goes with your chicken and your broccoli. Sorry, Bob. Right, bringing back those healthy greens that go in there, and now you're having a healthy lunch instead of just having rice with it. You're having quinoa, which is a much slower burning carb for you.
Love it.
Because how many of us crash at 2 or 3 o'clock because we had that lunch that ruined the energy we had from breakfast. We had that lunch to get some more energy, yet we had one that spiked us. So now 2:30, 3 o'clock comes and now we're dragging. If quinoa was part of that lunch, you'd be full and you'd have the energy on a slow burn. Bob, what was the fifth thing?
The fifth thing was they call it trace elements, which is, these kind of micronutrient multipliers, Chad, things like vitamin B, which you're going to get from eggs and leafy greens anyway, which we've got up higher on the list, right? Magnesium, which comes from almond and spinach. A lot of these trace element things, I think people realize I don't necessarily get enough of these things in my diet. And so you'll see a lot of these things be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Added, modified?
Yeah, added. No, they'll just be, I take the nutrient
multivitamin.
Yeah, the multivitamin because I get, it gives me my magnesium and my zinc, which comes from pumpkin seeds. And I think pumpkin seeds are disgusting. So you're not going to see me eating pumpkin seeds, but I realize I need zinc. So I take the multivitamin, right?
These things will often be in a multivitamin. Make sure you're looking for a good one. And they'll also be in those electrolyte packages that you see a lot that are highly recommended, especially if you're a sweater. And I don't mean like t-shirt versus sweater. I mean someone who sweats a lot. If you find yourself that you sweat regularly, whether it's from workouts, whatever, these are the things that are creeping out of your system in that sweat. That's why if you let your sweat dry on you, it's like chalky and stuff. So taking one of those electrolyte replacements can be a wonderful way to get things like magnesium and zinc into your system because you're drinking it in your hydration.
All right, let's do the flip side really quick, because I think a lot of the things on here are the things that for my entire life up until recently, I just ate and I didn't even think anything twice about them because,
No, you
again,
eat cinnamon rolls like they're
right.
They're
And because like, I can do that and not gain 50 pounds. If in my 30s, all of a sudden I was gaining 50 pounds, I probably would have had to look at this sooner, but then the first one is everywhere. When you leave your house, you'll be hard pressed not to find these out in the world. If you're like, I'm going to stop and grab some ultra processed foods, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just about everything that's outside of your house that you didn't buy, like the actual ingredients for is going to be.
Let me give you an example of the easiest one that I have found. I don't know if you've ever made homemade pasta. I've become obsessed with making pasta at home.
Okay.
Do you know the ingredients that go in to pasta?
Flour, eggs, and water. I don't know.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's it. And there doesn't even need to be the eggs, right? Homemade pasta is flour and water. Sometimes you add an egg, sometimes a pinch of salt, which is not as bad for you as everybody wants to steer you to believe. Now, Bob, I challenge you. And audience, I challenge every one of you. Next time you're in the grocery store, grab a pack or a box of the pasta that's on the shelf in the grocery store and look at the ingredients. That's ultra processed. They have added 25 different things to the ingredient list that don't need to be there because they want it to have shelf life.
Chad, did you see there was a vice president at Campbell's Soup who got caught. Here it is. He got caught on a secret recording of basically like mocking their food. And he was like, we sell it to poor people. It's horrible for you. It's ultra processed. You've got meat that's these cubes of meat. It's not even real meat. Like this guy went off on how processed Campbell's Soup food is and got caught. And ultimately, and because of that, Campbell's has now been sued, like in a class action lawsuit because of that, guys. Like, so yeah, like
if you're buying it in the grocery store and it's got more than 4 ingredients, it's ultra processed. Don't buy it. Right. Yet, if you look at your cart, that's 95% of the things you've been buying.
Easier said than done. I realize that there is some element of like
convenience.
There's convenience. There's also affordability, right? Like, look, Chad, you and I think are very fortunate in that we, make enough income and we earn enough to be able to make smarter decisions. I don't always make them, by the way, but I do have the finances to be able to make them.
Yes,
so I get it.
To get a Happy Meal at McDonald's than buy good for you food. Yeah. So of course, that's going to be the choice for many families in many situations. Yet, folks, what if it's one meal a week?
Yeah.
That you make that pasta at home? What if it's one meal a week that you are buying the better for you items in the grocery store, right? The trick you've always heard for the grocery store, Bob, follow the outside wall. If you never go up and down the aisles and follow the outside wall, because you're going to go through the fruits, you're going to go by the dairy section where that stuff, yes, it's processed, but
all the meats.
But you're going to go through all the meats, the fruits, the that the area.
Bread. Yep.
You're staying away from the processed. That's number one. It is the biggest killer of health and energy, Bob.
Yeah. I mean, next up, added sugars and like lemonade. That lemonade's a killer. Don't eat lemonade. It's got so much sugar in it. You wouldn't even like, but it's sweetened coffee drinks. A lot of us go to the Starbucks in the morning and grab the thing that they dump that, they pump 3 pumps of just straight sugar.
Yes.
Sodas, obviously. Shout out to my wife who recently 6 months ago, like doesn't drink soda anymore. She used to be a Diet Coke, which doesn't have a bunch of added sugars in it, but it's got other things that
it's got worse crap in it.
She moved to water. My wife, who didn't even like drinking water, she now drinks it with a little splash of Mio or whatever the stuff is that makes it taste a little bit better. But just added sugars, man. Like we're all taking in massive amounts of sugar. It might be the number one, like if we're just looking at food in the United States, it might be like the number one cause of issues, right? Sugar increases in sugar leads to
creating diabetes, obesity,
inflammation, heart disease, like a lot of these things. And the sugar, I don't know, the sugar conglomerate that exists out there has done a really good job of making sure that our lawmakers don't put any restrictions on sugar. But man, it's everywhere. Here in the city of Seattle recently, like pop, like not diet, but like sugar-based pop has an extra tax added on it. So you go buy something at McDonald's, you buy a Coke, it's another 30 cents or whatever, because at least the city of Seattle has been like, look, this is causing issues. So we're going to charge a little bit more for it to put some money in the coffers for public health. So I don't know, man, added sugar, it's everywhere, right? It's hard to avoid, but you can do it.
Yes. And, I don't necessarily believe you have to avoid it. You have to just control it and limit it. Watch for the added sugars. There will be sugar in things. It's just like there is salt in things. You're not going to find good tasting food that does not have salt in it. Salt's not going to kill you. It's when you eat too much salt. Sugar's not going to kill you. It's when you eat too much sugar. Pay attention to the added sugars. Bob, seed oils in high quantity. This is when you go to a restaurant. You have no idea how much olive oil and forget olive oil because it's actually on the healthier side, but all the other oils they're using back there to fry things, to cook.
Vegetable oil? Just vegetable. What kind of vegetables? Yeah. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Just shut up and eat it.
It's all the other vegetables, not the ones that you're eating out there, right? These are going to cause inflammation. These are going to cause sluggishness within you and your thinking, which is, of course, going to hurt your energy. And Bob, heavy lunches.
I mentioned all been there. We've all made the mistake, Chad. We've all been at a conference and they serve us lunch and we're like, I'm hungry, and then in the afternoon, you're just mentally sluggish.
Nothing worse than being the keynote speaker at 1:00.
Yeah.
Right. Because the audience is all like, oh, right.
A lot of times it's the carb load, right? And what happens is your blood actually has to like redirect blood away from your brain down to your gut to go digest and help digest all of those heavy carbs that are sitting in your gut as you're now sitting there at, after lunch, and it creates a certain amount of haze in your brain.
Wow. Love this. We did a whole episode about this a while back. Caffeine, right? Is caffeine good? Is caffeine bad? Just like is red wine good? White wine good? Is no wine good? Just wait. The internet will change its mind every 6 months and tell you one or the other. Bob, caffeine is a tool. Okay? Remember that. Caffeine can be effective in the right situation. Don't drink it with sugar. Right? There's added sugar right there. I'm putting added sugar into it. Caffeine actually can help with your blood sugar control. So use caffeine wisely. Use it within the first hour and a half of getting up, right? It's helping your body get going, okay? Otherwise, avoid it. Don't drink caffeine all day long. Ben Kinney, I love the man, used to think he could get an extra hour in the day if he drank enough 4-hour energy drinks. He'd say, well, if I drank 5 of them, the math says I should get an extra hour if I drank whatever it was. It didn't work that way. Okay. That's just caffeine. And now they tell you it's not caffeine. Okay. It's just a ridiculous amount of B12 vitamin, which is the natural, and I'm putting quotes around it, natural version of caffeine, Bob. Watch caffeine. It can be helpful when used properly. Like it gets my brain fired and moving in the morning. It controls my blood sugar through the day. It helps my digestive system. Yet when it becomes I'm reliant, and this is cup 4 of my coffee late in the day, now it's just impacting my sleep. It's impacting getting in the right nutrition. I want everyone just to have that little tag on because it's been a great conversation about nutrition for energy's sake. Caffeine is part of that conversation.
Chad, here's what I would say. And because look, I'm somebody that's kind of actively in the middle of this. And I think we just end this thing by giving them one kind of practical thing they could start to try to implement. And I'm going to go with just all those energy killers we talked about. See what happens if you got rid of them from your diet for a week. Like, see if you can notice a difference. If we just said, you know what, it's going to be, for me, it's going to be ultra processed snacks, Chad. Like, I'm just as look, and I go up in my wife is like, she's one of these kids that kind of grew up with like single mom, and she never had anything in her snack pantry, right? Like at home when she was a kid. So our snack pantry looks like freaking Costco blew up in there. Yeah. It's not it's not all candy, but there's good stuff. There's not good stuff. And I've always been one that kind of leaned towards the sweeter thing, or the thing that was, and so not too long ago, I decided, you know what, for my snacks throughout the day, it's going to be blueberries. It's going to be almonds. I'll do some like prosciutto or some kind of a meat in there or something. But see what happens, you guys. Like I've been able to notice, especially in the afternoons, a more clear brain, Chad. And it's only been because I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to eat garbage snacks during the day. So just pick one. I'm not expecting that people are going to go out there and go, okay, well, we're going to eliminate the lunch, heavy lunch. We're not going to do any ultra processed food at all. We're going to kill sugar. We're just going to eat protein. But do something, right? Do one thing and see if it makes a difference. Because for me, it's led me to start to looking at other places where I can make a little bit smarter decisions, right? We already made the smart decisions in our house with like getting rid of sugars in our drinks. So much sugar in the things that we drink from day to day. But like what's one thing you could maybe eliminate and replace with a smarter option?
That's a great challenge for everybody, Bob. Here's what I'll challenge them to do. Track your intake for a week. Go grab something like MyFitnessPal. Heck, use ChatGPT. Take pictures of the boxes, of the labels, of whatever it is. That'll help you. Tell it how much you ate of it, right? Well, oh my God, I have to use a weight scale or actually pay attention. Yes. And if you put all that information in, you'll start to see how many grams of protein you actually are eating. You'll start to see what percentage of fats you're bringing in versus protein and carbs. You'll start to see that, Bob, it's the first thing I do when I talk nutrition with a coaching client. The ultimate plate is 30% carbs, 30% fat, 40% protein. That's the ultimate plate. Carbs are not the enemy. The wrong carbs are the enemy, folks. And I would challenge everybody here, track yourself in detail for a week. Now, Bob, this week might not be the best week because Thanksgiving is here while we're recording it.
I shall be counting nothing related to my food this week, Chad.
Nothing at all. Have all the pie you want. Have all the protein you want with that turkey. Enjoy it. Audience, we know it's after Thanksgiving when you heard this, yet your Christmas meal is coming. You are exempt on Christmas Day. Enjoy that meal. Yet we care about your health. Don't make us be the only ones that are caring. Until our next episode, as always, do good.